If you've ever felt like mistakes weren't allowed, that getting something wrong feels worse than it should, or like you have to get things just right to feel okay, then you may have some experience with perfectionism. Trauma survivors who have developed this trauma survival strategy mistakenly believe it's a personality trait. It was actually a way that your nervous system adapted to your environment to help you survive. You may have been told that you're too hard on yourself or that your standards are just too high. But for many survivors of complex childhood trauma, perfectionism isn't about standards, it's about safety. You might have grown up in an environment where mistakes had strong, painful consequences, such as humiliation or a caregiver's anger, criticism, or withdrawal of their affection. Doing things as perfectly as you could became a smart strategy for reducing risk. It could help you avoid punishment or keep a situation from getting worse. Your system may have learned something like, if I do everything right, I'll be safe. Maybe you learned to double check everything before you turned it in, reading it over again and again, making sure there wasn't anything someone could point out or criticize. Maybe you tried to figure out exactly what people wanted before they even said it, so you could meet expectations without risking getting it wrong. From the outside, that can look like perfectionism, but it didn't start because you wanted to be perfect. It started because getting it wrong didn't feel safe. The problem is that your nervous system doesn't automatically update now that you're an adult. So even now, when you won't be punished for mistakes, when the stakes are much lower, and when you're not in that environment anymore, that same pressure can still show up, and it can feel just as intense. Instead of asking, what's wrong with me? It can sometimes help to ask, what was this trying to protect me from? Because this pattern didn't come from out of nowhere. It had a purpose. Now, that doesn't mean perfectionism is helpful now, but it does mean it makes sense. And when something makes sense, it often becomes a little easier to work with over time. If you'd like to learn more about perfectionism as a survival strategy or about other survival strategies, click the link in the description.